Well, we did it. Here we are, sitting at 1K, and obviously I wouldn't have been able to do any of this or get anywhere close to this without all of you. So firstly, right at the start here, I just need to say a huge thank you. It genuinely does mean a lot to me, it really, really does, and I just didn't think we'd be able to get, well, really anywhere near 1K within a year, but as I said, here we are. I just wanted to make this to firstly thank all the people that stuck with me and helped me get here, all the people that, subscribed, supported the channel, and I also wanted to let you know where we go from here and to get your feedback on some stuff actually. So if you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed to the channel, but if not, please do go check out some of my other content, and if you like what you see, consider subscribing. It all helps, it really, really does. And I guess the first thing to really do is say a huge thank you to anyone who so much as glanced at my channel. And I'm sorry if I trip over my words and stuff, I'm not using a script for this, I'm just trying to get my point across, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed with it at the moment. It's just really, really cool to see, and I'm just really happy with how things have done. But I started the channel in, December 2020, not really knowing what to do or exactly how I was going to do things and how I was going to do it and all this kind of stuff. But slowly after the past, what has it been, 10 months-ish? I think I've finally fallen into like a good place and stuff is just kind of clicking at this point. Most people seem really happy with what I'm putting out and people have really been supportive, so I can't really ask for more than that. Really, I couldn't ask for a better journey from 0 to 1K if I'm being completely honest. The sort of small community we have going on here on the channel is just great. I've barely had any negative comments or disagreements with anyone. And on the opposite side, it's just been a lot of praise and support for what I do. And, obviously as the channel continues to grow, eventually we're probably going to start seeing some trolls or some bots or whatever else. And while that does kind of suck, it's just like, whatever, it's going to happen, right? It's annoying, but ultimately it's not going to bother me. I don't block comments or anything like that. And if I ever did, it would only be for the, most absolutely disgusting or heinous comments, just downright disgusting things. Then I would probably block them. Other than that, it is what it is. And people do have a right to their opinions, even if I disagree with them. So yeah, do I wish that they would disagree with me respectfully? Sure, but it's 2021 and this is the internet, so it's just gonna be how it is, right? And I'm aware that 1,000 subscribers isn't the same as, I guess, 1 million, right? But overall, I'm just really happy and kind of proud of how things have gone, as silly as it sounds. I just really am. And some videos are getting just way more views than I expected them to get. And, I'm getting review codes pretty frequently now. I've had a few from P-Cube. I managed to get Hades on the PS5, and recently EA have given me a code for a game. It's an EA original called Lost in Random, but still it's a step in the right direction, and I'm working on a review for Lost in Random right now, and that's probably the next video that you'll see on the channel, so look out for that. Moving on though, as I've said a few times, I rarely mention my Patreon and donation stuff verbally because I don't really want to push it on people. I mentioned it in my 500 subs video, and I think I mentioned it in the Tales of Arise video because it was basically relevant to what was going on. Usually in 98%, I would say, of my videos, I just have that end card that gives credit to my supporters on Patreon. But having said that, 1,000 subs is a pretty big milestone in terms of, starting to seriously move the channel forward. You get monetization via Google Ads and AdSense and all that stuff. Sponsors and publishers start to take you that little bit more seriously, and you get things like the community tab on YouTube, and also I think YouTube itself starts to promote your stuff a little bit more. So yeah, it's kind of a good starting point if you want to get serious. You need to work up to that 1,000, and it really isn't as easy as it seems. It's taken 10 months of consistently uploading and improving the quality of what I do, and I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to make things better, but it does take a long time, so to get here is a pretty cool achievement. So with what I just said in mind, I'm just going to say right now, I do indeed have a Patreon. No content is ever going to be locked behind it in any way, shape or form. It's got 3 tiers, all of which are very modest in terms of cost. It's not, mega money or anything like that. It's 100% optional, and you honestly do not ever need to donate a single penny to me or the channel if you don't want to. I genuinely mean that. If you decide you want to sign up to Patreon because, I don't know, you like what I do and you want to sort of go over and above, then of course please feel free to do so, but there's no obligation at all whatsoever. Currently, as I'm making this video, there's 3 people there at the moment, and they've been with the channel for quite a while now, and they've even donated further than their Patreon pledges. And what I mean by that is if you follow the link tree in the video description, you'll see a place where you can just simply donate any amount you want to the channel through PayPal. It's all like a properly set up and secure thing through Linktree, and I can't see your personal details or anything like that through it. It just dumps whatever you donate into my PayPal account, and that's basically it. So if you'd rather do a sort of one-off type thing, you have that option as well. In fact, one of these donations was the reason I could afford to buy the Tales of Arise game for review, so it really does help me out in that regard. But again, it's optional. It really doesn't matter. You don't need to do it. You'll always be welcome here on this channel, regardless of if you've donated or not. You know, none of that matters. It's absolutely fine. Everyone will always be welcome here. At the moment, YouTube is currently checking my channel to see if it's all good for the official ad support. So I don't actually have ads yet, even though you may have already seen ads on my channel. The reason for that is because YouTube recently changed their policy where they could put ads on videos that weren't part of the YouTube partner program. It was just a way for them to sort of monetize people who weren't up to the 1,000 mark. It's a bit shady, but it is what it is. So, it's their platform. They can kind of do what they want, I guess. But basically, once I do have ads on my videos, the easiest thing you can do to support the channel without, actually having to donate anything to me is simply just by watching the videos I put out. You don't need to do any more than that. Things like leaving thumbs ups and commenting and sharing, the kind of stuff I mean. All that just helps the channel get seen. It helps the YouTube algorithm to pick out what videos to suggest to people, and recently my Nexomon video definitely got picked out to be looked at. It's done ridiculously well. I was expecting a few hundred views, and I think it's at like nearly 3,500 right now. So it just shows what engagement does. It makes videos get suggested and people click on it, and then the more people that click on it, the more people that get suggested to. It's just all a big circle. And I will just say, even if you use something like ad blocker, that's absolutely fine. That's not a problem. I wouldn't ask you to disable it for me or any other channel for that matter. And of course, you're still welcome here. It doesn't matter to me. If you use ad blocker and you just don't want to see ads in front of my videos, absolutely fine. That you're completely within your right to do that, and I definitely wouldn't hold it against anybody if they wanted to do that. And so lastly, I guess we can talk about what to expect going forward, and this is where I wanted to get some feedback from you. I think it's fair to say that the content that I do that most people enjoy on the channel seems to be the reviews and the style that I do them in. They are, let me think, they are the most viewed content that I make by far, and they also seem to bring in the most new people. And on top of that, they're the videos that I really like to create the most. They're the most fun to work on. And so with that in mind, I think I'll be dropping certain types of videos, at least for the time being. If you go back and look at my playlists, you'll see that I have a lot of different stuff in a lot of different styles. And it's mainly because from the beginning, I was trying to find my niche. I was trying to find where I fit in and trying to understand what I liked to make, And it's funny because I really didn't think reviews would be the thing that I got known for, but it seems to be going in that direction. So yeah. Things like hidden gems or news stories or news coverage will probably take a back seat, and I'd like to really focus on 3 types of video to sort of, really focus things down. So if you wouldn't mind, please let me know what you think of the following. So first of all, I'd like to do the standard reviews that you all know, the stuff that most of you probably subscribed for. Those pretty much won't change at all, except perhaps for some improvements to the editing and things like that, but generally they'll remain the same. The second type of video though that I'd like to do would essentially be a slightly more casual version of the reviews, but for games that are, I guess, already released and already out, but ones that I've never played. So these would be kind of like a recommendation video, I suppose. A good example is actually Horizon Zero Dawn. I've never played Horizon still up to this point. I know you're probably thinking I'm mad, but I've never played it. But just last week, I picked up the complete edition with all the DLC and everything, and now that the PS5 versions had the 60 FPS unlocked mode thing, and with the new game coming out next year, I thought it would probably be a good idea to play it. And then I thought, well, I can probably make some content on this, right? It's basically just a review style video on games that I've never played before. That's kind of how it is, and they all have to already have been released. But again, considering the kind of stuff that people seem to be subscribing to me for, I think it makes sense to do these kind of videos. So that'd be the second type I'd like to do. I can play the game, give my thoughts on it in a similar way to the reviews, and just sort of tweak the format, maybe make it a little bit bit shorter, something like that. And actually, I'm also interested in getting suggestions for these particular videos, so if you have any game you'd like me to play and then talk about, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you about it and we can sort of go from there. And then thirdly, I'd kind of like to do something similar to those two videos again, but on retro stuff. So that would include some Evercade stuff, and also I recently got one of those, what are they called? Analog Mega SG consoles from the States. If you've never heard of them, I'll leave a link below. Essentially, they're modern consoles that can play a lot of the genuine old cartridges, but in full 1080p and 60 FPS via HDMI, which is good because then I can record it. The Mega SG itself plays Mega Drive games, also known as Genesis in the US, and it comes with an adapter to play Master System games in the same way. But I also bought a set of extra adapters that allow me to play Game Gear, MyCard, and I think Mark III games as well. So I have a lot I can do with it, and these videos would just work in a similar format to the Horizon Zero Dawn ones that I just mentioned, and they'll probably be uploaded less frequently than everything else. And so yeah, those are the three types of videos I'd really like to focus on, and I'd basically like some feedback on that. Do you think that's okay? Would you be happy with that? I mean, I may post the odd random video on something interesting that I notice in the gaming industry, and also things like demos, you know, when a game's coming out and there's a demo like I did for Tales of Arise and things like that. Demos and previews, I guess, would be the things that I would also do, but they'd be a side thing. They wouldn't be anywhere near as frequent as everything else, but that's the sort of direction I'm thinking of going in. In regards to the upload schedule, it may require an extra day here or there, and that's simply because of how and when I get my games to review. It's kind of funny, I was actually getting a little bit paranoid sometimes, being like, oh, you know, I must upload every 3 days, you know, exactly, or people will unsubscribe. And basically I found that if I want to keep quality where it is and also, you know, improve on it as well, I may need that extra day here and there just to make that happen. And I'm just one guy doing everything that you see, and I'm often learning things as I go, and you wouldn't believe how much behind the scenes stuff you need to keep on top of when creating these videos, you know, like talking to publishers and all that. It's just kind of nuts at times. But I'm pretty sure, and in fact I kind of know, that a lot of you out there are just going to say, look, just do what you need to do and upload things when they're ready. You know, don't force yourself to rush things out the door. And I don't know, it's just because I don't want to disappoint anyone, and like, I don't want to make 2 videos in a week instead of 3 or 4, you know. I don't want someone to be like, well, he didn't make much this week, that's not very good, you know. But let me know what you think about it if you have a moment. I'd really appreciate feedback on the schedule thing, because it's just that I may need that little bit of extra time occasionally, especially as things are getting a little bit more serious. You know, if I'm given a review code, I kind of have an obligation there, and you know, timings might not line up and all this kind of thing. So yeah, just let me know what you think about it. And one last quick thing that I want to mention is that you may recall I actually had some help from a friend on 2 of my reviews, which were Aliens Fireteam Elite and Tormented Souls. That friend is TaylorMade Gaming, who's just set up their own YouTube channel, and they'll be posting things like full playthroughs of games, but they're like first playthroughs, you know, with no commentary and only minor editing. They're good videos if you want to just see how a game plays before you buy it, or you just want to casually watch a playthrough of a game that you may have had interest in the story but didn't actually want to buy, you know, that kind of thing. It's good for that. He started uploading his playthrough of Tormented Souls, which is actually where I got the footage from the review. He filmed all that and I used it in the review that you all saw. And I think after that he'll be uploading Aliens Fireteam Elite, which again is where I got the footage from. And after that I'm not really sure, but if that's the kind of channel that interests you, please hop on over and subscribe to it if you want to. There'll be a direct link to it in the video description down below. And so I guess in closing, a huge thank you to everyone who helped us get to where we are now. It's just incredible, and I'm really proud of the progress. If you could let me know what you think about the 3 video focus and the upload times, things like that, I'd really appreciate that. And also, if you want to chat to me directly, feel free to follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I generally post which games I'm playing for review on Instagram, and I share the review when it's done on Twitter. So if that interests you, just follow the link tree in the video description and you'll find everything you need. And I guess going forward, I'll continue to produce the best content I can for you all. And I guess we don't really need a channel goal anymore, do we? I suppose we can just see how far we can go. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.